Okay, yeah. Here's a video idea. Surely no one's for. Oh. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. Welcome back. And in today's video, I want to talk about backgrounds. Backgrounds are essential for any type of story, film, cartoon, live action film, anything you can think of. Without them, you'd have pretty boring shows and stuff. So today, I want to talk about what makes a good background, how you make your backgrounds, and key tips that I have to help you in making your backgrounds. Of course, I know that these tips aren't going to be for everyone. At the end of the day, art is subjective, don't judge a book by its cover, yada yada yada. But hey, you clicked on this video offering you my tips, so if you don't want them, I don't know what you're doing here. Anyway, having said that, I believe that there are 3 key elements that go into designing a good background. So, yeah, here are my 3 basic tips for drawing better backgrounds. Now, my first tip is focus. It's pretty simple to understand. And when I say it, focus is knowing what part of that background you're going to emphasize in a scene. Where are you going to have your characters? Where are you going to have your plot points happening? Why do you need to emphasize this part of the background? And in emphasizing your focus in a scene, you are telling the viewer that this part of your background is important. Something in this scene is happening here, and you should keep your eye on it. Now, I like to guide the viewer's eye with a certain focus in a few ways when I create a background. Sometimes I will emphasize the focus of a scene by adding certain amounts of detail to key sections of a background, whereas some parts of the rest of the background might be a little sparse in detail. Sometimes I'll do it with shading and colors. These are all different ways of emphasizing your focus for a background. And just again, if you're going to emphasize the focus of any background, you've got to know what's happening in your scene, where do you need to put the detail, and in knowing that, you will pass key information to your audience. Now, having established a focus, I want to talk about my next point, which is stylization. And this one's kind of simple, kind of difficult to understand, but stylization is key to any type of animated production. It is the aesthetic of your production, and it is all-encompassing, from everything from props all the way up to characters and of course backgrounds. Now, stylization, it's going to be different between audiences and artists. A lot of artists are going to have their own style, and a lot of productions are going to have their own style as well. Think about something like a superhero production, and then think about how it is stylized very specifically different from something like a fantasy production. So think about maybe, I don't know, for example, Iron Man, and how he just wouldn't fit into the world of Lord of the Rings because they are stylized so different. And yeah, in producing backgrounds that are stylized for your production, you've really got to know how you're going to stylize that production. And these are things you need to figure out before you really go into production. You really need to know, what is this story I'm telling? How do I need to depict it? And what does the world, what does the character, what do the props look like? And how are they shaded? How are they coloured? How are they shaded? These are all things that are answered by your use of stylization. And for a lot of artists, it is just going to be how they draw things in their own personal style. That's fine. But when it comes to animation, if you're working in the industry, then you're going to need to be someone who can work with various styles, and you're going to need to be able to adjust to working on different productions. And when you're starting your own production, you're really going to know why you're stylizing your story like this. And in the end, it will just make things infinitely easier for you to do. Seriously, trust me on that. Right, and lastly, my third tip is going to be kind of boring, kind of maybe controversial, I don't know, it might annoy some of you, but it's a real simple one of just know your fundamentals. Seriously, knowing your basic drawing fundamentals is key to just drawing anything, not just backgrounds. And yes, I know this might feel a little condescending, and I can see your eyes rolling into the backs of your skulls, but seriously, just learning how to draw, starting off and getting your basics down is really going to help you to understand what you're doing in any production, where you start with any production, whether you're drawing props, characters, backgrounds, effects. Just knowing how you want to draw these things and practicing how you've drawn other things that have inspired you in the past is going to really emphasize your ability to draw those scenes and stories that you can picture in your head. But now that you're drawing it, you've got to remember you're putting this onto paper, you're building these stories out part by part, so just practicing your ability to draw is key. And yeah, those are my top tips for making cartoon backgrounds. Hopefully this was a short video, I don't know, I've not put it together yet, and I hope you found these tips interesting and helpful. Maybe you didn't, I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you want, I don't know. But yeah, having said that, get out there, go do some drawing, be creative, and create some beautiful backgrounds. Yeah, anyway, those are my 3 top tips. Could have sworn there was something else I was meant to do. Oh yeah, I've got to tell you to remember to like and subscribe.